Every 4 days in Mexico, someone in public office is killed. Mayors, councilors, candidates, people who tried to keep their towns alive, caught between cartel borders. On the nightly news, most of these murders get just a headline, a brief mention, a footnote, then they're gone, quickly forgotten. Tonight, we're going deeper. We're uncovering what those stories share, what investigators are afraid to say on the record, and why hundreds of case files are literally blacked out, redacted from public view. Between the year 2000 and 2025, more than 1,200 politicians have been assassinated in Mexico. The violence escalates dramatically during election cycles. Think about that number. Half of those killed were municipal officials, people running local governments. A third were candidates who never even made it to voting day. A joint study by Oxford and UNAM found a terrifying pattern. These killings spike in the 30 days right before local elections. This isn't random violence. This is when the cartels decide who will win the election. Mainstream media outlets often report the death toll, but they rarely connect the dots to the real motive: organized crime seizing territorial control under the disguise of politics. It's a calculated strategy, and it's working. It's the Day of the Dead, a vibrant celebration in the city of Uruapan. Mayor Carlos Alberto Manzo Rodríguez is walking in a public parade, surrounded by his community. Suddenly, he's shot dead at point-blank range. International news agencies like Reuters reported a single gunman who was neutralized on site. But that's not the whole story. Witnesses on the ground described something far more sophisticated: multiple shooters, tactical precision, and radio coordination. This was a professional hit. And the motive? Mayor Manzo had publicly accused the Jalisco New Generation Cartel of siphoning off municipal contracts. He was blowing the whistle. But these crucial allegations, the very reason he was targeted, vanished from most English-language reports. Within 48 hours, the federal file on his murder was sealed, citing national security. Case closed to the public. The truth buried. This isn't an isolated incident. Six months earlier, in May 2025, mayoral candidate Yesenia Lara Gutiérrez was live streaming a campaign event. The camera was rolling. Her supporters were watching online. Then, 2 gunmen entered the frame and opened fire. Millions saw it happen in real time before the footage was systematically scrubbed from Mexican servers. National networks in Mexico aired just 15 seconds of the clip, with the sound muted. They didn't mention her campaign promise to audit public works contracts that she believed were tied to the shipment of meth precursors. Her murder file? It remains under review, lost in bureaucratic limbo. Reporters on the ground in states like Michoacán have told the Associated Press they receive anonymous guidance from local authorities. The instructions are clear: avoid naming specific cartels. Instead, use vague terms like organized groups. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a survival tactic. Municipal governments often classify these homicide dockets as federal jurisdiction, a clever move that ensures the public has no access to the files. When grieving families try to get answers and file transparency requests, they receive pages and pages filled with black ink. The victim's name is visible, but the perpetrators, the details, the connections, all redacted. The effect is a systematic, deliberate invisibility. This is about more than just drug trafficking. Cartels aren't just moving illicit substances. They are running entire municipal economies. Researchers have a term for this: criminal governance. They tax everything: avocado exports, fuel depots, even waste management contracts. Nothing moves without their cut. A compliant mayor ensures that infrastructure projects become a pipeline for laundering money. A defiant one, like Mayor Manzo or Yesenia Lara Gutiérrez, becomes an example, a warning to anyone else who dares to stand in their way. These clear financial motives rarely make it into broadcast headlines. Why? Because tracing the money implicates legitimate companies and, more dangerously, powerful campaign donors. It pulls back the curtain on a system where crime and politics are not separate entities, but are deeply, structurally intertwined. And what about the people meant to report on this? Mexico is the world's deadliest country for journalists outside of an active war zone. Over 150 reporters have been killed since the year 2000. 13 this year alone. Faced with this reality, local news stations routinely self-censor. They avoid cartel stories entirely. When national or federal outlets do step in, they often summarize the killings as personal disputes or crimes of passion, completely ignoring the political context. The deeper, more dangerous truth, the systemic infiltration of politics by cartels, rarely gets aired. It's too risky. It gets uncomfortably close to naming living officials who might be involved. The data, when you can find it, paints a stark picture. Academic studies show that these assassinations are not random. They cluster along key drug trafficking corridors. When you overlay those maps with election maps, a chilling symmetry appears. The areas with the highest political turnover, the most assassinations, perfectly mirror the cartel's logistical routes. In states like Sinaloa and Guerrero, cartels have even gone a step further. They field their own candidates, running them under the banners of legitimate political parties. Yet, official government communications, the communiques released after these murders, consistently omit these overlaps. They list the killings as individual, isolated incidents, never connecting them into the larger pattern. This omission, this constant redaction, isn't an accident. It's the design. It's how the system protects itself. Despite the immense danger, a handful of brave investigators still try to expose the truth. Former prosecutor Maria Elena Moreno is one of them. She leaked 78 pages of internal memos that showed direct coordination between cartel leaders and municipal treasurers. Proof of the collusion. After receiving credible death threats, she was forced to flee the country. The mainstream media barely covered her story. Her documents were archived by a non-governmental organization, Transparencia MX, but even then, half of them remain sealed, locked away under the justification of ongoing litigation. Even the exposure of the truth gets redacted. Every single black bar on those documents hides a name, a motive, a network that remains in power. Redacted Democracy isn't just Mexico's story. It's a warning to every nation where the lines between crime and politics begin to blur. It shows what happens when accountability is systematically dismantled. Until full transparency exists, until these files are unsealed and the truth is laid bare, these murders will continue to serve as messages, not mysteries. They are a brutal form of communication. And as long as this continues, every election becomes another battlefield, disguised as a ballot. Thank you for watching. If you believe these stories need to be told, please share this video. Like and subscribe for more in-depth investigations. Tell us in the comments what investigations you'd like to see on the next episode of Total Redaction.